You ever notice how everyone keeps saying, I don't care? Like it's some badge of honor now. People say it all the time, I don't care what anyone thinks. And they say it with this proud, confident face, like they've achieved some spiritual level of not giving a damn. But the funny thing is, the louder someone says they don't care, the more they probably do. It's like someone saying, I'm totally over my ex, while scrolling through their Instagram stories at 3 in the morning with a pint of ice cream. Yeah, you're over it, sure. We all say we don't care because caring is tiring. It's emotionally expensive. You start caring, and suddenly you're involved in everything: your work, your relationships, your self-image, the approval of random strangers online. You post one thing, and boom, you start counting likes like it's a currency for your self-worth. And then you say, I don't care about social media. Yeah, you don't care so much that you checked your phone 5 times in the last minute. It's hilarious, isn't it? We act like we're these detached monks who've transcended ego, but the truth is we care about everything: how we look, how we sound, what people think of our opinions, what our parents think of our life choices. Even when you think you're not caring, you are. You care about appearing like you don't care. It's a loop. A sad, ridiculous, never-ending loop of pretending not to care while secretly dying inside because someone didn't text you back. But here's the thing. We care because we're human. Caring is in our DNA. It's what keeps us alive. If our ancestors didn't care about what their tribe thought of them, they'd have been eaten by a lion while the rest of the group quietly agreed, yeah, Steve never listened anyway. So we evolved to care. We evolved to need connection, to need validation. But somewhere along the line, we took that natural instinct and turned it into this full-time emotional job. Now we're checking everyone's reactions like it's our performance review for existing. I remember the first time I realized how deep it goes. I was sitting in traffic, right? Total standstill, and I let someone merge in front of me. Nice thing to do. But they didn't wave. No thank you wave. Nothing. Just drove off like my generosity was their right. And I lost it. I sat there fuming, like, really? You can't even acknowledge my kindness, you soulless creature? And that's when it hit me. I didn't let them in because I was kind. I let them in because I wanted the little wave, the validation, the proof that I'm a good person. It's embarrassing. We're all walking around doing nice things for credit. We care about approval even in traffic. And it's not just other people's opinions. We even care about our own judgments. We guilt trip ourselves constantly. You ever catch yourself replaying an argument from 3 years ago, imagining a better comeback? You're like, if I just said that, I would have won. You're arguing with ghosts at this point, and somehow you still care about winning. It's pathetic and beautiful at the same time. We care so much that it becomes a problem. We care to the point that it paralyzes us. You want to start something new, and immediately your brain goes, what if you fail? What if people laugh? What if it's stupid? So you don't do it, because caring too much turns into fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. And that fear robs us of experiences, of joy, of just being alive. We live in a world where caring is both expected and punished. You care too little, you're heartless. You care too much, you're weak. So where's the balance? How do you care just enough to stay human, but not so much that you lose your mind? Maybe it starts with being honest about it. Just saying, yeah, I care. I care too much sometimes. I care about dumb things. I care about people who don't even think about me. Because pretending not to care doesn't make you stronger, it just makes you dishonest. The moment you admit that you care is actually the moment you take the power back. When you own it, it stops owning you. You can laugh at yourself, like, yeah, I got mad at a stranger on the internet today. I cared. But I'm letting it go now. That's real strength, not pretending you're above it, but admitting you're in it and still choosing peace. It's funny how caring works in layers. You care about someone's opinion, then realize that opinion was shaped by someone else who also didn't know what they were talking about. It's like this pyramid of nonsense, and you're sitting there at the bottom, adjusting your life to fit standards that were made up by people you'll never meet. You buy clothes you don't like. You smile when you don't feel like it. You pretend to be okay when you're breaking inside, all because you care too much about perception. But perception isn't reality. It's just a collection of guesses. People don't really know you. They know snapshots. Few moments, few mistakes, few highlights. And yet we let those fragments define us. We let their version of us control our own narrative. That's the real trap. Because when you care more about their story than your truth, you lose yourself. So maybe caring isn't the problem. Maybe it's caring without awareness, caring blindly, caring about the wrong things. You can care deeply and still be free if you know where your care belongs. Care about your growth, your peace, your people. Care about laughter, about love, about being real. But don't waste your care on approval or image or ego. They don't deserve that energy. The irony of all this is that when you stop pretending, people actually respect you more. When you say, yeah, I care, but I'm not letting it control me, you become unshakable. You stop needing validation because you're giving it to yourself. You stop chasing approval because you realize the people whose opinions you're scared of, they're just as insecure, just as scared, just as lost. Everyone's too busy worrying about how they're being seen to actually see you. That's the joke of it all. We think the world is watching us, judging every move, but most people are too caught up in their own self-doubt to notice yours. Once you realize that, you start living differently. You start laughing more. You start doing things because you want to, not because they'll look good on paper or get you a reaction. And that's where peace lives, in the space between caring too much and not caring at all. In that quiet confidence of knowing what matters to you and what doesn't. Life's too short to be weighed down by every opinion, every comparison, every tiny judgment, but it's also too precious to stop caring altogether. So yeah, we care. We'll probably always care. But maybe that's okay. Maybe caring isn't the problem, it's caring without purpose that drains us. Because when you start caring about the right things, life feels lighter. You stop chasing and start living. You stop performing and start being. And in that moment, when you let go of what doesn't matter, you finally make room for what does. You ever notice how people throw around advice like just stop caring? Like it's that simple. As if you can just flick a switch in your brain and suddenly stop giving a damn about everything. Don't care what they think. Don't care about your past. Don't care about mistakes. And you're sitting there thinking, if I could do that, I'd already be living on a mountain somewhere, petting goats and meditating. The truth is, you can't just stop caring. Caring is built into who we are. The trick isn't to stop caring, it's to care smarter. To get selective about what actually deserves your time, your energy, your sanity. Because here's the thing, if you care about everything, you'll drown in it. The world's too loud. Everyone's shouting about something, politics, trends, drama, opinions. You open your phone and there's 100 different people telling you what should matter. Care about this cause. Care about this celebrity breakup. Care about this new outrage. And it's exhausting. You start feeling guilty if you don't have an emotional reaction to everything, as if being human now requires 24/7 outrage and empathy. But you can't care about it all. It's not humanly possible. You have to choose what's worth your emotional bandwidth. And that's what selective caring really is. It's emotional budgeting. You only have so much energy each day. You can spend it wisely or blow it all on nonsense. It's like having a wallet full of emotional cash. And every time you argue online or obsess about someone's opinion, all of you, you're handing out dollars. Before you know it, you're broke, exhausted, and wondering why life feels so heavy. But when you start being careful about where your care goes, suddenly things start to make sense again. You stop reacting to everything and start responding to what truly matters. We live in a time where everyone feels like they have to have an opinion about everything. You can't even say you don't know about something without someone lecturing you for not caring enough. But you know what's powerful? Saying, I don't have the energy for that. That's not ignorance, it's self-preservation. Because when you stop chasing every issue, every comment, every trend, you finally create space to actually feel what you care about deeply. You become more genuine, more present, more human. I've learned the hard way that not every fight deserves a warrior. You can't keep showing up to every battle that invites you. You'll lose yourself trying to prove a point that doesn't even matter in the long run. You ever notice that most arguments you've had weren't really about what you were arguing about? They were about ego, about being right, about not wanting to feel small. And at the end of it, what did it really get you? Just stress, resentment, and a headache. You can't win at caring too much about the wrong things. It's a game designed to drain you. And social media makes it worse. We've turned caring into performance. Everyone's trying to out-care each other. Like, look how much I care. Look at my long post about caring. Look at my hashtag about how deeply I care. It's not bad to care publicly, but when your caring becomes content, it loses something. It becomes about being seen as caring instead of actually doing something meaningful. Sometimes real care happens quietly, with no likes, no applause, no one even noticing. And that's the kind of caring that actually counts. Selective caring doesn't mean you're cold. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you understand your limits. You can't fix everyone. You can't make everyone happy. You can't keep pouring from a cup that's bone dry. When you start choosing what to care about, you start protecting your peace. You realize that not every opinion needs your defense. Not every problem needs your fixing. And not every person deserves access to your emotions. You learn to say, I care, but not enough to ruin my day. That's emotional maturity right there. That's not apathy, that's balance. It's being able to love deeply without losing yourself in the process. To show compassion without carrying every burden. You start seeing that sometimes caring less about one thing lets you care more about something real, like your health, your family, your art, your purpose. It's funny how when you stop caring about the noise, life gets clearer. You can actually hear your own thoughts again. You stop comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel and start noticing your own moments of peace. The quiet coffee in the morning, the walk where you finally breathe, the laughter that isn't forced. Those moments only exist when you stop wasting your energy on things that don't matter. I used to think caring less meant becoming numb, but it's the opposite. When you filter out the garbage, you actually feel more. You care with focus. It's like cleaning out your emotional closet. You throw away the junk so you can see the things that matter. And when you do, it's beautiful. You start caring more about kindness, about truth, about being authentic instead of perfect. You stop caring about being right and start caring about being real. The weirdest part is, when you stop trying to please everyone, people respect you more. They can tell when you've got boundaries. When you're not desperate for approval, your words carry more weight. People start trusting your care because it's genuine, not performative. You're not trying to be liked. You're just trying to live honestly. And that's powerful. We spend so much of our lives trying to prove our worth through what we care about. But worth doesn't come from caring about everything. It comes from caring deeply about a few things and standing by them. It's okay to say no. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to protect your peace without apologizing. Because when you learn to care selectively, you realize that peace of mind isn't selfish, it's necessary. The older you get, the more you realize that caring about less actually lets you love more. You stop giving energy to people who drain you and start giving time to those who fill you. You stop worrying about what strangers think and start showing up for the people who matter. You stop trying to fix your whole life at once and start nurturing the parts that are working. That's growth. That's freedom. Selective caring isn't about being detached. It's about being deliberate. It's choosing where to plant your emotional seeds so they grow into something worth having. Because when you waste care on every passing opinion, you end up empty. But when you give it to the right people, the right dreams, the right values, it multiplies. So no, don't stop caring. Just care better. Care smarter. Care about the things that light you up, not the things that burn you out. Because life's too short to waste your heart on everything that asks for it, and too meaningful not to give it to what truly deserves it. There's a weird kind of freedom that comes when you finally say to yourself, yeah, I care, but not enough to ruin my peace. It's not some deep spiritual realization, it's more like a quiet surrender. You just get tired of letting everything eat at you. The comments, the expectations, the guilt. You reach this point where you realize you've been caring so hard about every little thing that you haven't actually been living. And then one day it hits you, you can care without collapsing. You can give a damn without giving yourself away. That's when everything starts to shift. We think freedom means not caring at all. Like we're supposed to just flow through life on a cloud of indifference. But real freedom is learning how to carry care lightly. It's not that you stop feeling things, it's that you stop letting those feelings run your life. You stop chasing approval. You stop trying to fix what you can't control. You start to understand that peace isn't something you find, it's something you protect. You ever notice how much time we spend replaying things that already happened? A conversation, a mistake, something you said that came out wrong. You keep it on loop, like it's a Netflix show that never ends. And what does it do? Nothing. It doesn't change what happened. It just steals your sleep, your mood, your energy, because deep down, you still care too. Much about how it looked, how it felt, how it might have been different. But life's not a movie you don't get reshoots. You get this one messy, imperfect take. And the sooner you accept that, the lighter you start to feel. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop suffering for the things that don't deserve that much of you. You can still wish things had gone differently, still love people who hurt you, still hope for better days, and yet decide not to let it poison your present. That's not apathy, that's wisdom. You learn to care in doses. You start giving yourself permission to move on without closure, to forgive without forgetting, to feel without falling apart. That's emotional maturity right there. It's funny how we hold on to things that don't hold on to us. We carry grudges, regrets, old pain like souvenirs from places we never want to visit again. It's like keeping broken glass in your pocket and wondering why you keep getting cut. You can't heal while you're clutching what hurt you. You have to loosen your grip. You have to say, yeah, I care, but I'm not carrying this anymore. And that doesn't mean it didn't matter. It means you matter too. Some people will call that selfish. They'll say you've changed, that you're colder now, more distant. But they don't see that it's not about being cold, it's about being calm. It's about finally learning that you can't fix everything and everyone. You can love someone deeply and still walk away if it costs you your peace. You can care about people without becoming their emotional dumpster. That's not cruelty, it's clarity. We live in a world that romanticizes chaos. We call it passion, intensity, commitment. But sometimes it's just burnout disguised as love. We think the more we care, the more human we are. But the truth is, real caring has boundaries. Because love without boundaries turns into self-destruction. You can't set self on fire to keep someone else warm. And if you do it long enough, you forget what warmth feels like for yourself. There's such a strange relief in realizing you don't have to fix everything. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone who misunderstands you. You can just let people be wrong about you and still sleep fine at night. That's power, not arrogance, peace. Because once you stop defending your existence, you start living it. You know what really changes your life? When you stop reacting. When someone says something that would have wrecked your day before, and now you just shrug and move on. That's growth. That's freedom. You don't need to prove your worth anymore because you already know it. You don't need to chase validation because you've built your own. That's when you start noticing how peaceful silence can be, how freeing it is to just not engage. You realize not every invitation to chaos needs an RSVP. The hardest part is that the world doesn't make it easy to let go. We're surrounded by noise, by reminders, by people who keep reopening wounds you're trying to close, and sometimes you'll slip back. You'll care too much again. You'll overthink, overanalyze, overfeel. And that's okay. You're not a robot. You're gonna have moments when your peace feels fragile. The point isn't to be perfect, it's to keep coming back to balance. And that balance shows up in the smallest ways. It's saying no when you want to please everyone. It's choosing to take a walk instead of starting an argument. It's putting your phone down instead of spiraling through comments that will never matter. It's the quiet little acts of protecting your sanity that slowly rebuild your freedom. That's how you learn to live lighter. When you let go, people might think you don't care anymore, but that's not true. You still care, you just don't chase. You don't beg. You don't explain your worth. You start caring differently, from a distance that doesn't drain you. You learn to love people and still let them go. To want things and still be okay without them. To care without losing your center. It's almost ironic, the less you try to control, the more in control you feel. Because peace doesn't come from managing everything around you, it comes from managing yourself. From knowing what's yours to hold and what's not. You start trusting that some things will work out without your interference. That not every ending is a tragedy, not every silence is rejection. Sometimes it's just space being made for something better. And that's when life starts to feel lighter. Not because it gets easier, but because you stop fighting everything. You stop gripping every outcome like your happiness depends on it. You start letting life happen without constantly trying to edit it. You realize not every mistake ruins you. Not every loss defines you. Not every heartbreak kills you. You begin to see that even when things fall apart, you can still be okay. It's such a simple truth, but it's one we forget. Peace doesn't come from not caring. It comes from caring wisely. It's the freedom of knowing you can still love, still feel, still give, and still keep your balance. It's not detachment, it's grace. And once you learn that, once you feel that balance in your bones, you'll never want to go back to caring like chaos again. Because life's too short to carry what weighs you down, and too beautiful not to care about what lifts you up. You know what's funny? After all the talk about not caring too much, about letting go, about protecting your peace, there's still that part of you that just cares. You try to be cool, detached, unbothered, but something inside you doesn't let you. You still care if someone you love is hurting. You still care when someone misunderstands you. You still care about doing something meaningful, even when it costs you. And that's the part of being human that you can't unlearn. You can try to toughen up, to pretend you've evolved past emotion, but at the end of the day, your heart still beats for connection. You still want to matter to someone. You still want to feel seen, even if you'd never admit it out loud. We say life's too short to care, but the truth is, we care because life's short. Because we know time's running out, and we don't want to waste it feeling empty. We care because caring gives meaning to all the ordinary, messy, ridiculous moments that make up our lives. You care about your kids, your friends, your dog, that one dream you still haven't given up on. You care about laughter, about belonging, about being understood. And no matter how much you try to shut that off, it keeps coming back, because that's what makes us alive. You ever meet someone who says, I don't care about anyone? They usually say it like it's power, like they've transcended pain. But there's a sadness in their voice if you listen closely, because not caring might protect you from heartbreak, but it also keeps you from feeling joy. You can't numb one without numbing the other. If you stop caring, you stop connecting. And connection is the one thing we all crave, even if we pretend otherwise. The real secret isn't to stop caring, it's to care knowing that it'll hurt sometimes. To care anyway. To show up fully, even when it's risky. Because yeah, people will disappoint you. You'll give and won't always get back. You'll love people who don't love you the same way. You'll believe in things that fall apart. But you'll also experience moments so raw and beautiful that they make it all worth it. That's the deal life makes with you. You get the highs, but you got to be willing to take the hits too. There's this misconception that caring makes you weak, that if you feel deeply, you're fragile. But the truth is, it takes courage to keep your heart open in a world that keeps breaking it. It takes strength to care again after being hurt, to trust again after being disappointed, to love again after being rejected. Anyone can shut down, anyone can go numb, but to still care after all that, that's bravery. That's what real resilience looks like. And that's what makes life so messy and so beautiful at the same time. You don't get to control how people treat you, but you get to control how much you let it harden you. You can still care without losing yourself in it. You can still love deeply without letting it destroy you. That's the balance, caring enough to feel, but not enough to fall apart. The funny thing is, when you really start accepting that you'll always care, life gets easier because you stop fighting it. You stop trying to be someone you're not. You start seeing your care not as a weakness, but as proof that you're still alive, still capable of love, still human in a world that's constantly trying to make you colder. You start realizing that the reason it hurts so much is because it matters. You care because something in you still believes in better. Think about the people you remember most in life. They weren't the ones who acted like they didn't care. They were the ones who did, the ones who showed up, the ones who listened when you needed it, who cared when it wasn't convenient, who loved without needing to be perfect. Those people change you. They make you want to do better. That's what caring does. It creates a ripple. You may never see the impact, but it spreads. And when you start living that way, you realize that caring doesn't have to drain you. It can actually fill you up if it's genuine. When you care about things that matter, your family, your growth, your purpose, it gives your days weight. It gives you direction. It's not the kind of caring that needs applause or attention. It's the quiet kind, the steady kind, the kind that doesn't go away even when life gets rough. Sometimes caring means forgiving people who never said sorry. Sometimes it means reaching out even when your pride tells you not to. Sometimes it's staying soft in a world that rewards being hard. It's choosing compassion when bitterness would be easier. That's not weakness, that's power in its purest form. Because when you care with awareness, with boundaries, with honesty, you don't lose yourself, you become more yourself. We spend so much of our lives pretending to be indifferent, acting like nothing can touch us, but deep down, we all just want to be seen and loved for who we are. We want someone to care back, and that's okay. That's the most natural thing in the world. Caring doesn't make you naive. It makes you human. It means you're still open to life, still willing to feel, still brave enough to try. At the end of the day, we can tell ourselves we don't care, but life has a way of proving us wrong. You'll see something beautiful and it'll move you. You'll lose someone, and it'll break you. You'll help someone, and it'll remind you what it means to matter. No matter how tough you think you are, caring always finds a way back in. And thank God it does, because that's what makes life worth living. We're all just trying to figure it out. Trying to love without losing ourselves, to care without collapsing, to protect our peace without building walls, and somewhere in that messy middle, that's where real living happens. That's where the laughter, the love, the growth, and the connection exist. So maybe the truth is, life really is too short to care about the wrong things, but it's also too short not to care about the right ones. And when you finally get that, when you learn to care deeply without losing your peace, that's when you stop surviving life and start living it.